Anglo, who probably will set a new scoring record for a career at Michigan State before this day is done, kicks it off and rolls it down the field and rolls it out of bounds, and that'll cost him 5, and that is not the way George Perlis wants this day to begin. Yep, he nails it down the middle, but it's low and bouncing, and it's handled cleanly back at just inside the 10 by Desmond Howard, and Howard almost got around the corner. Good pursuit by one of the Spartans, kept him from popping it loose and going for a long way. John Vaughn is a sophomore, 200-pounder from Florissant, Missouri. And on first down, Gerbach swings it out to Vaughn. Get him out there one-on-one. He's very quick and shifty. He picks up 9 yards. And it's second down and a short 1 for Michigan. And contact along the front. John Nealon is the referee, and John signals offside Michigan State. So Bobby Wilson, the big 280
Defensive
got
offside. First down.
On first down, this is Vaughn. You see the quickness of Vaughn. He put on the brakes, changed directions, shifted gears, and turned nothing into something. The linebackers are Edwards and Jenkins outside, with Chuck Bullock playing that inside position. Very, very important because of the twist, the stunt to 4-3 that Michigan State played. Michigan going with no huddle. The pass is thrown outside to Derek Alexander, a sophomore out of Detroit. He's a yard and a half or so short of the markers. It's third down and 2 for the Wolverines. The ball is on the Spartan side of the field, and Vaughn breaks it for the first down all the way down to the 33-yard line. Single back, double wide, bottom of the picture. Gerbach gets some heat, gets his pass away, and it is dropped by Derek Alexander.
Michigan State is about 25 pounds per man lighter than Michigan's offensive line.
Vaughn blowing over the left side. That's a helmet rolling around, not the football. Vaughn had it tucked away, and he is close to another first down. One of the Spartans lost his hat. Number 96, Bill Johnson. What do you bet? Oh, Big Bill went over to one of the fellas in a striped shirt and said, "You think they ain't holding?"
Pulled my
hat. On third down and short, they've got the first down. Right on the Michigan State 20-yard line. Now they've got the wideouts on each side of the ball. And on first down from the 20, Gerbach gives it to Vaughn. Vaughn cuts it right and then skitters back to the left and picks up 5 yards. Bumps it, throws it to the corner. Touchdown, Alexander. Too much time. Back him up. 11:02 remaining to play in the first quarter. Now Carlson from the 15-yard line for the extra point. Got it. J.D. Carlson hammers it. High hanger. Brian Winters has it for Michigan State. Wiggles around pretty well and gets on up to the 24-yard line for Brian Winters, a freshman from Toledo, Ohio.
And for Michigan, a little weakness in their linebacking core. They're starting a true freshman at inside linebacker. They've had some inconsistency in the linebackers.
Got some people dinged up. Alex Marshall has got to really play this season. Tico Duckett down for a yard. That's all he got. Mike Evans stepped in and belted it. The wideouts, James Bradley and Brian Smolinski. Remember, Courtney Hawkins is hurt. Dislocated, actually a broken collarbone. Enos gives to Duckett, bounces outside, and gets up to the 30-yard line. It is third down. Long 3, close to 4, as Enos is back for his first pass of the day. Drills it, and it is caught by Duckett out of the backfield, the tailback, for a first down. That's really a good defensive secondary. Michigan State staying with the ground game. That reflects the personality of their head coach, George Perlis. And Tico Duckett starting to get warmed up now. Bangs in there and gets about 3. Eno's pass is completed to Brian Smolinski, the 5th-year senior from Farmington Hills. And he's past the marker for a first down at the 49. Hickson and Duckett are both in the ball game now. Both tailbacks. And they give it to Duckett. And that's a slashing run. Good for almost a first down. Not quite. It's going to be a yard shy. Well, they had him last year at East Lansing. They just didn't convert on 4th down. Trip Welburn made the great play. Made the big hit to keep him out of the end zone. And I'm not sure they made their first down there. As Highland Hickson, the big back, 220 pounds of him, tried to reach in and pick off the first down.
That's
He didn't make it. It's Duckett. He's got it now. And then some. First down at the Michigan 22. And they are finding room in the middle. Between the tackles. James Bradley is the wide man, top of the picture. Left side of the Michigan State line left a little early, I think. Yep. Sebastian Small is in the game. Enos is back to throw it. Passes away. Pass is caught by Tony Rollins. And Rollins is knocked out of bounds at the 13-yard line. 5:47 to go in the first quarter. Michigan in the opening possession, taking it down the field for a touchdown to lead it 7-0. Second down and 1 for the Michigan State Spartans. The ball is just inside the Michigan 13-yard line. Tico Duckett, single back now. Duckett with the ball. They give it to him 7-8 yards deep, and he goes searching along the line of scrimmage looking for his opening, and his openings so far in the game have been in the main between the tackles.
Their touchdowns this year, as you look at Michigan defensively, Michigan State has scored on the ground 8 of 9 times.
It's first and goal from the Michigan 9. Sebastian Small in the lineup, a 205-pound freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Hickson left the game limping. That's why he's not in there, with Small sticking his head into the stack and getting 1 yard on that carry. They've got McFarland, number 17, wide to the top of the picture up there. Eno stands up, looks for it, pulls it down, takes off, touchdown. Here's the kick by Langloh, and he is now the career scoring leader at Michigan State University. Michigan took the opener in for a tee, and here comes State right back to answer, and we're even at 7. 4:40 to go in the first quarter. 7-7 ball game, and here come the Wolverines for their second possession. Same alignment, Bunch and Vaughn behind Gerback. Vaughn. Tony McGee is in there at a tight end position. That's him in motion. Give it back to Vaughn, and there's a big hole for John Vaughn. One man. Finally run down from behind by Dixon Edwards, and a big play for Vaughn, and first down Michigan at the Michigan State 33. Michigan, of course, ranked number 1 in all the national polls. Michigan State, having lost to Iowa at home last week, dropped out of sight in the poll. Win here today, they'll be back among them. Second down and 8. Gerback down the middle, wide open Howard. Desmond Howard, first down Michigan. Michigan State 13-yard line. Vaughn is back in now at tailback on first down at the Michigan State 13. He's got the ball. He hit the marker as he went out. It may be first and goal. Go to the wishbone now. Jefferson checks in. Vaughn
They give me
about the 1 yard line. Second down and goal. Vaughn, no. Number 19, Freddie Wilson, and number 97, Bobby Wilson, the primary tacklers on the play. Third and goal from the 2. Vaughn, no. It'll be fourth and goal from the 1.
There's no doubt what he's going. He's going for it, and I'll bet it's a run at the same side, right side.
I'll tell you what, a Michigan field goal here on first and goal from the 3 is a win for Michigan State in this particular skirmish. That's Vaughn bouncing outside, going to the goal line, and he did not score. And that's a win for Michigan State in the skirmish for sure.
To the right side, the big man right there. He makes the first hit, and then his friends come and help. Michigan State makes a big play. They haven't got out of their territory yet.
On the 1 yard line, Enos will get out close to the 3 on a quarterback sneak. Probably not here. That's inside the 5. The ball carrier Duckett is bent back from the 5. Ball is just short of the 5 yard line. It is third down. Enos and Duckett bump together. Enos pulls it down and will be taken out of bounds right around the 5, maybe the 6 yard line. And the 37+ average is a little deceptive. He got some heat on it, but the kick is away, and it's a beauty all the way back to the 34 yard line. There is a penalty flag back up where the punter hit the ball because the punter was knocked down. So I think that one may come back, and Michigan State may come out of it with a first down. Enos turns, gives the ball to Duckett. And Duckett, running inside still, is up to the 22 yard line, and we'll be over in Bloomington in a couple of weeks with these Michigan Wolverines to see what happens. Indiana having its hands full today with Ohio State. Not much on that play with Duckett and Hickson lined up together in the backfield, and you'll be looking at third down and about 4. Eric Moten is out of there right now, and Brett Lorius is in at a guard position for Michigan State. Enos gives the ball to Tico Duckett, and he's close, but just short. No pressure, however, and the kick is very high, and it's forcing Welborn into a fair catch call at the 31. First down at their own 31 yard line. It's a tie ball game at 7-7. Conor McGee is the tight end in motion. John Vaughn has the ball, cannot turn the corner. Call it second down and 9. Gerbach has all day and throws a bad pass. He didn't want to get it too far upfield because he could see Dixon Edwards lurking along the sidelines, and so he threw it behind his receiver. Third down. Bunch the fullback, the protector. Gerbach pass is away and caught by Howard. Howard is hammered short of the first down. Number 41, Buller over there in a hurry to get him. Not very well either. Cold dead shank, but it gets a great tail dragging run and goes down and out of bounds at the 21 yard line. Michigan State football, first down at their own 22 yard line. McFarland, number 17, Mark McFarland. Speedster 5'9", in at a wide out position. Duckett and Hickson are split backs behind Enos. And he's going to throw it. He gets it away, and it is incomplete. So far, they're playing like it. On second down and 10, passes drilled. The tight end, Kurt Prinz, a big 240-pound sophomore from Muskegon. And he's at the 30. He is 2 yards short of the first down. Third and 2. Well, the second effort puts him close. Duckett was hit by Eric Anderson. Couldn't hold him. Stanford, with any luck at all, would have only one loss, if that. All right, it's first down. Hickson and Rollin are the backs behind Enos, and this is Hickson, and Hickson is taken down hard by Eric Anderson for a yard pickup. Second down, 9, and a thundering charge by Mike Evans, number 92. Big enough, 255 pounds. Third down and very long, like 17. Tight end, number 95, Prinz. Up high, gets it, brings it down, but only a very short pickup for 4 yards, and it brings in the punter, Butlin, on fourth down.
Both teams have good special teams, and this could be an area where the game could turn.
The ball bounces back to the punter, but Butlin gets it away, and it's a mile high. It's above the rim of the stadium, believe it or not, as they went about their work. Gerback hands the ball to John Vaughn on first down from the 27. And that's a couple of yards to the 29, and that'll do it. Second down and 8. Gerback to throw it. Good protection. Man open. Desmond Howard. Tackle by Haller of Michigan State. First down, Michigan. 7-7 tie. 6:45 to go, first half. Vaughn. Just over the 45 and rolled back by William Reese, the big sophomore tackle for Michigan State from Cincinnati.
Mike Lynn leaving the Vikings, too.
Yep, 9 Eastern time on ABC Sports. Down the middle, Gerbach. Oh, my goodness, off the hands of Derek Alexander. He's young. 6'2", 190 sophomore from Detroit, and the ball was right on his feet.
Wolverines just keep turning out fine receivers.
Third down and 9. Gerbach getting some pressure. Throws it away. He was trying to set up a screen to Vaughn, and Michigan State just thoroughly messed it up. First down for the Spartans. And Duckett searches around a little bit. Gets it across the 25 up near the 27. Moten, who had a twisted ankle and was relieved by Laureus, has now returned to the ball game for Michigan State. Moten is the 300-pounder on the offensive front for the Spartans. On second down, Enos rolls it and lets it go, and it is caught at the 41 by James Bradley. That's his first catch of the day. And James was another one who had a hard day last Saturday. This time he reels it in. First down, Spartans 41-yard line. Hickson is the back. He's got the ball bouncing around and can't get away from Mike Evans, who has become a force in the defensive front for the Wolverines. Second down. And the pass thrown down the middle is short to the 48-yard line. Kurt Prinz.
Michigan State's going to get a timeout.
3:51 to play in the first half. All right, the Spartans have had their conversation now. And on 3rd and 2, let's see what they've decided to try. Rob Roy is in the backfield. He is a blocking fullback, but quite a good pass receiver. Number 27. Enos rolls, keeps it, gets his first down. It'll be first down Michigan State at the Michigan 48-yard line. First down, Michigan State. Not much room for Highland Hickson. He's right about the line of scrimmage as he goes down. Tico Duckett checks back in as Enos drops the throw on second down 11. Steps away from the pressure and then goes down at midfield. The man who finally got him was number 86, Martin Davis. As he stepped away from the backside pressure, Davis was there waiting for him. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the first half. The ball right at midfield. Third down and 12. for Michigan State. Game is tied at 7. McFarland in motion. Enos has time. Passes away. Pass is incomplete. Number 3 was curling across, and Bradley looked like he might have thought the ball was intended for Smolinski and did not make much of an effort to catch it.
Neither one of them came to the inside. There were two going away from the line of scrimmage about 20 yards downfield.
Normally kicks it very, very high. Does again. Great kick. Great bounce. They've done it again on the 3-yard line. Well, they've moved the ball out now. Where'd they move it to?
Well, they should have moved it to where it was first touched.
Ball at the 8-yard line. This is John Vaughn. Vaughn is across the 30. First down, Wolverines at the 31-yard line.
Bulla replaces Percy Snow, who was All-American at that position last year.
Gerbach throws underneath the Vaughn, and it's incomplete. Bounces off his numbers. Edwards was there defending.
5 to 6 are gone. They just reload. Bunch, the fullback, is the only one back. Those wide receivers are maybe as good as the 2 they lost last year.
Speaking of Bunch, he is taken down by Cliff Conford, number 62. 3rd down, 16. Ball given to John Vaughn, and he gets back to about the original line of scrimmage, 31-32-yard line. Clock is continuing to run, and now I think Michigan's willing to let it go.
Michigan State should stop it.
Yep, they've got 2 timeouts, and somebody has stopped it. It is Michigan State stopping it. They want to make Michigan punt the ball. Well, he gets it away. Not terribly long, and Brian Winters gets a fair catch call at the 40-yard line.
Well, you can hand it off to your back or throw it over.
Throws intercepted. It's Chris Hutchinson with the interception. The ball was tipped, and Hutchinson caught it, and there's a penalty flag. So a whole lot going on.
We had illegal touching by the offense on the play. Decline.
Oh, Chris is enjoying his first interception in his career. A completion, they could have a field goal shot here. There's the pass. It's Howard. It's good. First down. Clock stops with 4 seconds, and the ball is at the 11. Solomon puts it down. Plenty of leg on it, and it's no good. He hooked it left.
George Perlis is down here extremely upset. What's happened since about the 2nd quarter is only one line back to the coach's booth has been operational. The Michigan officials have been working on it, but they've only got one line working. George Kish came over and gave them a piece of his mind, saying, this is outrageous. You ought to take them out. You know what the rules are. If you don't have lines working on one sideline, you got to take them out of the other side.
The Spartans fumbled the ball trying to return the kickoff, never got a hold of it, and Brian Winters finally has to cover it inside the 10-yard line. Eno sets him up. Give it to Duckett on a sweep. And waiting for Duckett outside is Lance Dutton, number 22. 2nd down and 3. They've got the first down across the 20 to the 21.
One of those lines are out, the other is working. So what they're having to do is when the offense is on the field, the offense gets that one line. And then vice versa when the defense goes out.
Hyland Hickson jumps over the line of scrimmage, puts his hat on Veda Murray, and rumbles. First down, Michigan State. Munoz pitches the ball to Hickson. And Hickson is taken out of bounds by Eric Anderson. So the Spartans get about 3, maybe 4 on that one. Give him 2 yards on that last carry. Make it 2nd down and 8. Here comes Hickson again. So they start out the second half using the big back, Highland Hickson, and they're hammering away at Michigan's defensive front. Almost intercepted by Otis Williams. Had it right in his hands. Butlin is in the punt, 4th of the day. Previous 3 all in the middle 40s. Another good one. Boy, he really roots him up, doesn't he? Trip Welburn back, calls fair catch. Wolverines ball, 1st down, 19-yard line. Elvis Gerbach hands the ball to John Vaughn, and Vaughn is taken down by Dixon Edwards, who is having a very big ball game for Michigan State.
Kate?
I hope so. George is going to eat it. Gerbach's pass to the sidelines, coming back for the ball. The catch is made, and the Wolverines have a 1st down as Desmond Howard came back to get it. So 1st down from the 35 now for Michigan. Vaughn with it. Weaves through the traffic. When you hear a coach tell a running back, keep your head up, that's exactly what he's talking about, what you just saw.
A couple weeks ago, he was waving him in, signaling him in. He looked like he was a one-arm paper hanger.
2nd down and 2, broken play. Gerbach pulls it down and is going to lose on the play. As Alan Haller, the quarterback on the boundary side, was there to haul him down. 3rd down and 7. Oh, he's got Howard down the middle all by himself. I mean, he was lonesome. He could catch the flu and get over it before somebody found him.
Wide open.
Michigan on the move in a 7-7 ball game. And here comes Ricky Powers. Ricky Powers is a true freshman, 205-pounder from Akron, Ohio. 2nd down and 6.
Michigan State's pretty good in the 3rd quarter as well.
Penalty flag. Gerbach's pass over the head of Howard, and just as well, because there were 3 white shirts right there. Alexander was the more open man of the 2. Let's see about the penalty. Offside, Michigan State.
Desmond Howard.
Jefferson checks in, go to the wishbone, give it to Vaughn. And John Vaughn will pick up the 1st down inside the 25-yard line.
It's interesting that Michigan State's defense is set up for the middle linebacker to make the tackles. Michigan, however, doesn't have anybody in the top 14 in tackles in the Big Ten. Different setup defensively.
On 1st down, Vaughn in the middle to the 15-yard line and down to the 10-yard line. Well, I'll tell you what, you look out there and he looks like he might be a small fellow. Well, he is not. 1st down, and I think it'll be 1st and goal. The ball is right on the 10. This time, Vaughn is taken down by Big Bill Johnson. Johnson, probably involved in that futile chase a moment ago, solves the problem. He goes and does it by himself. Throws for Bunch. 3rd down and goal from the 13. Gerbach under pressure to the corner. Flag goes down.
The problem is the ball is thrown so high as he was hit. The ball's thrown so high, Wilson, who was beat, lost sight of the ball and just goes and hits him right there.
And the Wolverines are in business now. 1st down and goal. They work out of the wishbone at the Michigan State 2-yard line. A 7-7 tie. It goes to John Vaughn. Touchdown. Ball is loose. He don't get the touchdown. Michigan State picks it up. He was reaching to put it over the goal line, and he didn't get it. They're going to call him down back at the 1. Eddie Brown picked it up, and the official, the linesman, has put his foot down and saying he was down at the 1.
The official on the spot rules the ball carrier down on the 1-yard line. It'll be second down.
Well, we'll take a look at it. Michigan again running to the right side on the goal line. Hit by Wilson. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yep. The fullback bunt. Touchdown, Michigan. Now we'll kick off. Number 1 has the lead at 7:32 to play. Incidentally, the clock didn't run at all on that scoring play either. So there's the ball bounces over the head of Brian Winters, and he's got to put it down in the end zone. It'll come out to the 20, where Michigan State will go to work. They got 3 wideouts now as Enos will throw on first down. Oh, he won't either. He's sacked. Martin Davis, 86, outside backer. Pass is caught by Smolinski, and he's right at the marker. This is Hickson, and Hickson goes down with Trip Welburn just over the 35. That's about a 5-yard pickup. Hickson, number 34 or 94, T.J. Osmond, the middle guard or nose guard, senior from Pittsburgh, stayed at home and locked it. Quarterback.
The second time that Michigan State and Enos have run that option. Both times they've been successful with it.
Got his first down. Simpson is shaken up. Outside backer for Michigan. Alex Marshall is in now for Michigan. There's a familiar name at that outside backer position, playing himself back into shape. Pass is thrown down the middle by Enos to Prinz, the tight end. And he's past the marker, and it's first down Michigan State at the Michigan 46. Enos hands it away to Hickson. Hickson gets around the corner. Welborn misses him, and Plate takes him out of bounds. Todd Plate. But it's a big gain for Highland Hickson, who once he gets it in gear can haul it. Gannon Dudler, a freshman, is in at the linebacking position, number 55 for Michigan now, replacing Evans, the defensive tackle. So Dudler is a tackle, not a linebacker. He's in for Evans, and nothing there.
Rakowski on the other side is a redshirt freshman, so they've got their main guys out of there defensive line-wise at the moment.
Enos passes away and incomplete. Pass was intended for Smolinski, but was underthrown and behind him.
Nobody's there.
First down. Seventeen-yard line. Gutty play by Enos. Hickson. Well, I'll tell you what. Eric Anderson seemingly had him locked. Duckett's got it. Behind Roy, the fullback, for the first down at the 5. First and goal, Spartans. Tear him apart.
He said some pretty derogatory things about his offensive line.
That's Duckett. for a yard. And this time Anderson makes the tackle stick.
Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator, says we don't want them to make any big plays. Make them work all the way down. Well, they've worked to this point.
Second down and goal. Enos keeps it, turns it. Down he goes, right on the line of scrimmage. Number 92, Mike Evans. One more time. Third down and goal for Michigan State. Enos back, wants to throw. Gotta throw it, does throw it. Hickson, touchdown, Spartans. 15 plays and 80 yards, and Langlo for the extra point, and we're tied again. 14-14. Received the crowd count, 106,188. It is the third largest crowd in the history of this old stadium at the University of Michigan. Coach Fritz would have been proud, wouldn't he? Oh, and fielding Yost. This is John Vaughn. And about 8 yards on the carry before they lasso him. Ricky Powers is into the ball game at tailback now for Michigan, replacing John Vaughn. And Powers has it. And the freshman takes a couple of pretty good licks and gets the first down. On first down, Powers with it. That's 3 yards and a penalty flag. First down and 5 as they accept the offside penalty, moving the ball to the 47-yard line. 13.5 minutes to go in the game. Gerback lets it go. Incomplete, and Alexander has dropped 3 balls today that were right on his hands. 3 times. Second and 5. This is Powers. Ricky Powers crosses midfield, gets to the Michigan State 49, but he's going to be a yard or so short. Powers, there's the first down. Now that's a true freshman, folks. That's a teenager. And he's playing with the big boys.
Steve, you're really frustrated here, but what do you think this team can do to turn these things around? It's locked up.
The first half, it's just one guy missing a block, you know, here and there, and that's what Moeller was saying in the locker room. And everyone's just got to buckle down and just remember their assignments, and not get confused out there.
Second down and 7. Vaughn is back now at tailback for the Wolverines. John's got it. 97, Bobby Wilson penetrated and got a hand on him, but you don't get Vaughn with one hand. 3rd and 6, they're throwing. Bunch is a lone remaining back. Gerback's pass thrown down the middle and incomplete. Never saw it either. He was flat on his face. Eddie Ascona is in the punt. 41, 32, and 28. That's a better one. Trying to kill it deep, and they do. Penalty flag. You got to give the man room to catch the ball. Walter Smith was back there. I don't think Smith wanted the ball.
Yeah, you've got to give him room to catch the football.
Interference with the opportunity by the kicking team. It will be 1st and 10.
From the 9-yard line now, the Spartans will go to work with Tico Duckett, the single back. Pitch it to him. He looks for some daylight. Ain't much. 2-yard pickup. And Neil Simpson has to come out again. He's been gimpy now for a goodly while, and Alex Marshall goes in to replace him at the outside linebacker position. Highland Hickson is the single back now for the Spartans. He's got the ball. And boy, the Wolverines slowed to the ball that time. 3rd and 8. This is a substantial play in this whole scenario. And it is incomplete, intended for the tight end, Dwayne Young. Even if he had caught it, it would not have been a first down. And if ever the Spartans needed a big punt from Josh Butland, they need it right here. Hardly any wind at all. There's pressure, and it's a tail dragger. It may take a pretty good bounce for them, and it does. So they get a big kick. Michigan's ball first down at their own 35, a 14-14 tie, 8:49 to play in the ball game. And Elvis Gerback goes down the middle with it, throws it too high. It's intercepted by Aquinello. And Aquinello is tackled by Jared Bunch, and a penalty flag is thrown back upfield. That's Vaughn down
we
on
have
the field.
Blocking below the waist on the return. State will keep the ball.
And Enos sets him up. And drops the throw. Drops it off underneath to Hickson. And he's got 6. Alex Marshall and Eric Anderson on the tackle for the Wolverines. Hickson would appear to have the first down at the 42. 7.5 minutes to play in a tie ball game. They take it inside, not much for Hickson, maybe a yard. 2nd down and 9 coming up. The ball at the 43 of Michigan State. Northern Iowa defeated Wisconsin. They won 2 in the Big Ten now. Eno steps away from the pressure, gets a little help on the corner, and where'd they put him? Down at the 46. That's a first down.
Duck inside. Welborn has kept some big drives alive today with his scrambling ability.
6:44 to play. Setting up a screen pass, won't work. Hickson, the man they wanted to run the screen pass, was tangled up with Mike Evans, the Michigan defensive tackle, and was down on the ground. 2nd down and 10. Enos rolls out, get a little room, throws incomplete. The pass intended for Mark McFarland, defended by Eric Anderson. 3rd down and 10. Got it. Bradley. They're now in Langlow's range, too. 6 minutes to go in the ball game. Up the middle, Hickson. Oh, he's loose. Touchdown, Spartan. Big moment here. He got it. The extra point is not always a gimme. Today. Desmond Howard at the 6. Whoa, look out. He's going. He's got a convoy. Goodbye. 94 yards. Touchdown. J.D. Carlson to tie it. J.D. who turned down Yale to walk on at Michigan. This is Winters at about the 13-14. And fights on up the field near the 29-30. Enos. Got a problem, dumps it off to Hickson. First down and more. David Key knocks the big back out of bounds. 5:29 to play. Duckett is in the backfield. He's got it. Couple of yards for Pico. Osman is out of there at that nose guard position right now for Michigan. Knuth is in. Tight end move. There's your penalty flag. Passes away and incomplete. Intended for Bradley.
Decline. It'll be 3rd down.
Turn it down. Rather have roll up that the marker. Make it 3rd. Enos rolls to buy time, takes off. Can't do it. Davis, Martin Davis. Penalty flag goes down and might be a face mask there. Yep. Hickson with the ball. Goes Hickson again. And he's close to the first down. Don't know if he's got it. He does not. He's got Hickson in there with Roy in front to block. They give it to Hickson, and he should have it. Hickson in the middle. Second down from the 9. Tico Duckett, 5-4, touchdown, Michigan State.
That's Morrison, number 36. He ducks around, tries to run around the block.
Kicking good. The number 1 team in the country coming into the game, trailing by 7 points. Elvis Gerbach steps away, takes off, and is thrown down at the 32. Second down and 6. Incomplete. He was hit just as he threw it, and he was hit by Johnson. Third down. The pass tipped. It hit number 51, I think, in the back of the helmet. Carlos Jenkins is out there covering one of the receivers, and it looked like the ball hit Jenkins in the back of the head. 28-21, Michigan State. A minute 32 to play. First down, Michigan. Desmond Howard from the 44. John Vaughn just over midfield. It's second down. 4. Gerbach, a deep drop, the twist going on, the pass is away. Howard dropped it. Had it. And couldn't hold it. Third down, 4. There's your first down. Catch by Dave Diebold. They're up there ready to go as soon as the chains are set. This is the principal advantage of the no-huddle. To the sideline, Vaughn. Get out of bounds, John. He didn't do it. Bad move, Vaughn. Aquinella is the center fielder for the state defense. Gerbach back on second down. Bunt right through his hand. Thrown hard. Maybe a little too much zip on it. 31 seconds. Diebold right on the numbers. The tight end just turned back to look, and as he looked, the ball hit him right between the 8 and the 3. Fourth down. 27 seconds. This time Vaughn steps out of bounds and gets the first down. Howard got it. First and goal at the Michigan State 7-yard line. 16 seconds to play. First and goal from the 7. 10 seconds. In the corner, Alexander, touchdown, Michigan!
Do you go for 1 or do you go for 2?
I think they go for 2.
He takes this the last time out to talk about it.
You got 4 wide receivers.
Defensively, you got a blitz.
Howard, he dropped it. He dropped it. He dropped it. Howard dropped it. Bob Goodrich produced it. Larry Cam directed it. Ball rolling around. Onside kick. Michigan's got it. Clock hasn't moved. Well, if you can you get 15 and have a second left out of bounds? You need 15. Pressure's coming. Gerbach's running. Got to throw it. There it goes. Intercepted by Michigan State, and the game is over.
They had a chance.
Yes, they did.
The ball was up.
The ball was being slapped around, and Eddie Brown was the man that came down with it, and the Michigan State Spartans have defeated the Michigan Wolverines 28-27